Hello, my name is Melissa Gianetti, and I had the opportunity to research judicial affairs and student conduct. The history of judicial affairs and student conduct goes back to 1636 when Harvard was founded. At the time, there were no borders for student behavior. Conduct grew and evolved over time just as institutions did. The need for student conduct and judicial affairs was derived from the institutional needs and the idea of creating a holistic education for all of the students. In the early 1970s, the student conduct specialists began organizing and professionalizing as a whole. Because of this, in 1973, the ACPA Commission for Student Conduct and Legal Issues was founded. In 1990, the Association for Student Conduct Administration became a member institution of the Council for the Advancement of Standards in Higher Education. The purpose of judicial affairs and student conduct is to ensure that the students of the campus community are being held accountable and responsible for their actions and violations, as well as a place for others to report those who need to be held accountable. While there are many different beliefs out there, religious institutions are no different than secular institutions. These students, too, cheat, feel depressed and overwhelmed, abuse alcohol, and get bored by classes. Restorative justice is just one practice that is used in judicial affairs. This practice is one that is becoming more widely used across higher education institutions. This practice is a way for students to be held accountable for their actions, as well as an opportunity for them to be educated on the issue. This practice also involves the victim of the violation so that they feel that they are being heard. There are four basic principles of restorative justice. There's inclusive decision-making, active accountability, repairing harm, and rebuilding trust. While this is not the only practice used, it cannot be applicable for all situations. This is up to the Director of Conduct on which practice to use on a case-by-case basis. Restorative justice allows the integration of the development of the student along with accountability. The Office of Student Conduct is open to all students of the campus community. There is no student who is not able to report an issue or be held accountable for a violation. In addition, faculty and staff members also have the ability to report violations. All students are subject to student conduct. This includes first-year students, transfers, veterans, first-generation students, and many more. The Office of Judicial Affairs and Student Conduct partners with many different departments. Some of the campus partners that they work with are the Counseling Department, the Title IX Coordinators, and the Department of Public Safety. While these are not the only campus partners, these are the three major and most commonly known. In my personal opinion, I feel that the Department of Public Safety is the most important partnership for the simple fact that they are monitoring campus 24/7. This allows for more eyes and ears to be on the lookout to keep the campus safe. This department not only partners with those on campus, but also those in the local community. Two of the major external partnerships that the Office of Judicial Affairs and Student Conduct has is between the local city and county police, as well as nearby institutions. These two are so important to keeping the campus community safe and accountable. The local police have the ability to hold students accountable for state law violations, but they also will be held accountable on campus as well. The nearby institutions want to keep their community safe just as your institution does. That is why communication and trust between institutions is so important. If a student is found in violation of a policy on another campus, they will be held accountable through their institution. There are many more external partners, such as local community centers, but these two are the largest, who have the greatest impact. There are many different ways for the Office of Judicial Affairs and Student Conduct to provide different programs and outreach for those who have committed violations. One of the greatest outreach attempts is through community service. For those who have committed a violation, they are able to give back to the community in which they harmed. This allows them to see what their actions have and how much of an impact it makes. Another outreach attempt is through the Counseling Department. This is especially useful for the students who were found in violation of a policy that included alcohol or drugs. There are counselors who specialize in this field and want to help those students get better and not recommit a violation. There are not very many ways for assessment to take place for the Office of Judicial Affairs and Student Conduct. It is important to know that professionals in this field are always trying to alter their current practices and adapt to the current generations. Each institution is different from each other and needs to individually evaluate what would be the best practice for their students. It is difficult to implement a specific way for assessment in this field because of how varied it becomes. While assessment efforts can be done, this allows professionals to see if students are making progress post-violation. Benchmarking is another way for professionals in this area to see how they can improve. The spiritual formation of a student in the Office of Judicial Affairs and Student Conduct is important, but not to everybody. It is important to state that each student is on their own spiritual journey, if they are even on one. For those who are on one, the act of community service is a way for the student to develop themselves. They can find a way to give back to the community in a spiritual manner. This also goes along with the concept of service learning. Each institution has a goal of creating a holistic student who is well-rounded. While faith-based institutions have it easier than secular-based, it is still part of the student's journey. The opportunities for professional development are endless. The Association of Student Conduct Administration, the ASCA, which is formerly known as the Association of Student Judicial Affairs, ASJA, was founded in 1987. They hold annual conferences along with week-long training opportunities for professionals and even host a summer academy. The National Association of Student Personnel Administrators, NASPA, is also another professional organization for professionals in judicial affairs and student conduct, but is not the primary organization. This is the ASCA. NASPA also hosts conferences for professionals in judicial affairs and student conduct. In conclusion, the professionals in student conduct and judicial affairs have a completely different point of view than most professionals in student affairs. Judicial affairs and student conduct is mainly focused on restoring the student and creating opportunities for them to grow and learn. The major fact I learned from this research is how much the campus community is impacted by each violation. I enjoyed learning about this topic, and I look forward to learning more. These were all of my references, and I enjoyed reading each one of them. Thank you for your time.